What's going on, guys? Coltmush back at it with a $1,300 full gaming setup PC build. I haven't done one of these in a while. I've been being requested to do more of these full setup builds, and I've been being requested to do more higher end builds, so let's kill two birds with one stone here and give you guys a $1,300 full setup build. As always, I'm still going to start off with the CPU, and for the CPU in this build, I went with the Intel Core i5-4690K 3.5 GHz quad-core processor. For around $220, the i5-4690K is a beast of a processor. Being an unlocked processor with a decent CPU cooler, you can overclock this CPU to around 4.0 GHz or even higher. Even at stock settings, the i5 performs great, and on the latest games, the i5 is really going to be utilized. I didn't go with the Skylake CPU in this build because that would just increase the cost of the build by a little bit, and I just think it's a better option to go with an i5-4690K for around $220. Pick up a CPU cooler, something even like the Cooler Master Hyper 212 will get the job done and let you do some slight overclocking. And right now, for the money, it doesn't really get much better than the Core i5-4690K. For the motherboard, I went with the MSI Z97-G45 Gaming ATX LG1150 motherboard. This is an awesome motherboard. It's an LG1150 board, of course. It's Intel Z97 chipset, so you can overclock on it. It's got 4 RAM slots up to DDR3 3000 and up to 32 GB of max memory. It's got RAID support, Crossfire support, SLI support, 6 SATA 6 GB per second ports, and onboard USB 3 headers. And it comes in an awesome black and red color scheme that's gonna go really well with the build. Overall, for $115, the MSI Z97-G45 is gonna be a really great motherboard in this build. For RAM, I went with the G.Skill Ripjaws X series 8GB, 24GB sticks running at DDR3 1600 MHz. It's 8GB of RAM even in these higher end builds since it's primarily a gaming build. I don't really like to go with 16 gigs of RAM. 8GB is so cheap at $45. 16 gigs is something you want. You can pick that up in the future. All you'll have to do is just drop another $45 and you'll get another kit of this RAM and you'll be good to go. But for now, 8GB will definitely get the job done. And don't be worried about things like the system requirements of Star Wars Battlefront. I played the beta with 8GB of RAM and I did just fine playing the game at 1440p and getting 60 frames per second. Do not worry about that at all. 8GB of RAM will do you just fine. For storage, firstly for the hard drive, I went with the Western Digital Caviar Blue 1TB internal hard drive for around $50. This is going to be your mass storage device. It's going to be where you keep all your excess games, movies, pictures, videos, all that kind of stuff is going to go on the Caviar Blue. And the Caviar Blue for a mechanical drive is actually decently fast, but in a budget like this, you definitely want to pick up an SSD, and that's where the OCZ ARC100 240GB solid state drive comes in. Now, I went with the ARC100 for a multitude of reasons. First, I didn't want to go with a 120GB SSD. I just think that is a bit too limiting. 120GB, in my opinion, just isn't enough. Sometimes over the course of 6 months, that storage just kind of withers away, and you don't really know how you lost it. Also, a 240GB SSD from OCZ for only $60 is just a great deal. The ARC isn't the fastest SSD on the market, but for this kind of a price, you really can't turn it down. I actually have an ARC100 in my rig, and it works great. I think you guys are going to like it a lot, especially due to its great price of $60. And that kind of a price for 240GB in a solid state drive is really great. Moving on to the video card, I went with the MSI Radeon R9 390 8GB video card. This GPU is $310 after a $20 mail-in rebate, and right now for that kind of a price, the MSI R9 390 is the best video card on the market. Yes, the GTX 970 is out there, but for most benchmarks, the R9 390 does outperform it. Now, if you are hell-bent on getting an NVIDIA video card, check out the 970 instead of the R9 390 if you want Shadow Play or something like that. I mean, really, the R9 390 and the GTX 970 are interchangeable in pretty much any build I have the 390 in, but right now, the R9 390 is the better video card, and with 8GB of buffer, that's just absolutely absurd. 8GB is way more than you even need, but maybe in a year or two, that 8GB is actually going to come into play, and if you're gaming at a higher resolution, that is actually going to help you quite a bit. As far as performance goes with the R9 390, expect to run any game on the GPU. Star Wars Battlefront, Fallout 4, Metal Gear Solid 5, all the latest games, all the upcoming games going into 2016 like Deus Ex, Mirror's Edge, all those games are going to run just fine on the R9 390. It's a beast of a video card, whether you're doing 1080p gaming or 1440p gaming. Next, for the power supply, I went with the EVGA SuperNOVA Next 750W 80+ bronze certified semi-modular ATX power supply. This power supply right now is $60 after a $20 mail-in rebate. That's a 750W power supply that's semi-modular, which is really nice. It's going to keep cable management a lot easier, and you will be able to go for a crossfire configuration in this build if you want. I'm not the biggest fan of crossfiring and SLIing, but hey, at least the option will be open if you want to do it. And for $60, getting a 750 watt power supply from EVGA is a pretty good deal, and the fact that it's semi-modular is going to keep cable management a breeze in the case. Speaking of the case, I went with the NZXT S340 Black ATX mid-tower case for $60. What can you say about the S340? I've recommended it so many times. It is the best mid-tower case for the money right now. At $60, it's definitely very cheap, and aesthetically, it looks great. It's got the side window that everybody loves. It comes in black or white, so just pick the color of your preference. In my opinion, black will go much better in this build, but I'll leave that decision up to you guys. It's got great ventilation, a lot of room for upgrades, and the NZXT S340 for $60 is one of those cases when a friend comes in, they see the case and they're like, dude, why do you have a refrigerator in your room? And then you have to explain to them it's your gaming PC. And usually cases like that are upwards of $100, but the S340 is $60 and it is an awesome case. Okay, so that wraps up the build. Now we're gonna move on to peripherals and all that kind of stuff. The monitor is gonna be something that pissed some people off, but hear me out. I went with the Asus VS238H-P 23-inch 1080p monitor. Yes, I couldn't fit in a 1440p monitor. If I wanted to go with the 1440p monitor, I would have not been able to get the SSD and some other little things in the build. So I just think stick with 1080p. You can make the 1440p upgrade in the future, and 1440p monitors are getting cheaper and cheaper, and 1080p still looks great. The consoles don't really run games at 1080p, so at least you'll still be above consoles. Yes, I know the consoles run some games at 1080p, but a lot of those games don't run at 60 frames per second, and the R9 390 is definitely going to give you some great 1080p gaming. As far as input goes with this monitor, you're looking at one VGA port, one DVI-D port, and one HDMI port. It's got a 2 millisecond response time, which is pretty decent, and right now it's around $120. I have a couple Asus monitors myself, and all of them have been great. Haven't had to deal with dead pixels. If you're looking for 1080p monitors at a good price, Asus has got a lot of options, and this VS238H is definitely one of them. Solid pick for the build. Yes, it's not a 1440p monitor, but that is something you can pick up in the future. Or if you do just want to spend the extra $60 to $100, get a 1440p monitor right now. The R9 390 is definitely going to be able to handle some games at that resolution. Moving on to the keyboard and the mouse. First, for the keyboard, I went with the Logitech G710 Plus. Now, originally, I wanted to fit in something like a Corsair K70, but I couldn't fit it in the budget, so I opted with the Logitech G710 Plus instead. It's a great mechanical gaming keyboard. It's got 6 programmable keys on the side, and it's a very tactile keyboard. A couple of my friends have this keyboard, and they all really like it. And right now, for $90, it's a solid mechanical keyboard that doesn't break that $100 threshold. So for sub $100, the Logitech G710 Plus is definitely a good option. Moving on to the mouse, I went with the Mionix Castor. This has become one of the most popular mice on the market, and rightfully so. This has become my new mouse of choice, and I just have to say it's absolutely fantastic. It feels great, and for first-person shooters, I've never used a mouse as good. It does come at a slightly steep price point of $70, but I think it's well worth it, and I think you guys are gonna like the Castor a lot. There's a reason why a lot of people are raving about it, and yes, I'm gonna jump into the bandwagon. It's a fantastic mouse, and if you have the money, definitely grab it. Finally, for OS, I recommend you hopping over to G2A or r/Microsoft Software Swap and picking up a Windows 8 key for around $30 to $40, and you can even upgrade to Windows 10 if you want. You can actually pick up a Windows 10 key if you want for about $40, so that's a really good deal as well. Or you can go on Amazon and pick up a copy for $100. I know most of you guys don't want to do that, but I'll leave that decision up to you. A couple of my friends have bought Windows keys off r/Microsoft Software Swap, and they've had no issues at all, so definitely check it out. Even if you go shopping on eBay, you can sometimes find keys, but whether you want to buy a key or buy a copy off Amazon for $100, I'll leave that decision up to you guys. So that's gonna wrap up this video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Leave a like, show me some support if you guys enjoyed this video. These kinds of videos take a little bit longer to produce, so I really hope you guys enjoyed it. As always, leave requests for future videos in the comment section down below, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Have a great day. Peace out.